Welcome to Back Roads of Illinois podcast. I am Cesar Delgado. We are talking with Gary Schitnk. He is an agricultural economist at the University of Illinois at College of Agricultural and Consumer Environment Sciences in Champaign. Welcome, Gary, to Back Roads of Illinois. Thank you for your time to visit us.
Well, it's good to be here, Cesar. Very good.
Good morning. How are you today, Gary?
I am doing well. It's been a good weekend, and we're back at it, and it's everything's going fine.
Congratulations to you for 35 years of your work at the University of Illinois.
Thank you. Longevity has its pluses, I guess.
Could you explain to the audience about the farmlands in the state of Illinois?
Yeah, so we are sitting in Illinois, highly productive farmland in this state, and we've seen prices of that farmland increase quite dramatically over the past several years. Just to give you a feel, at the end of 2022, we had farmland that for our best quality farmland was averaging $16,000 per acre, and we've seen many go about that. And above that, actually, $20,000 sales have been heard of. And that all increased about 15% from the year before, and we've been on a nice upward trend.
What do you think about the cash market for this year?
That is a very good question. We see some fundamental things suggesting weakness in the farmland market. Two of those would be, first, interest rates are rising, and typically when you see interest rates rise, you see as a downward pressure put on prices of all assets, and farmland being one of those in particular. We are also probably going to be looking at lower incomes this year. So the combination of higher prices and lower incomes are likely to lead to downward pressure on farmland. But we still haven't seen any decrease in farmland prices. So my guess is that we'll see some stability to slight increases, but there on the horizon, there's potential for decreases in farmland prices.
Do you have any concerns about the commodity prices in the future? About the corn market is mixed bag and beans. How does affected the farmlands in Illinois and across the Midwest?
Yeah, that's also a very good question. I suspect we're going to see downward pressure on commodity prices, both corn and soybeans, and right now probably more on corn than soybeans. The reason why more for corn is that we saw many more acres in corn than many people anticipated. If you're looking at new crop prices, that they're suggesting something in the $5 range for new crop corn, and that will be down significantly. So I would expect sort of lower corn and soybean prices than we've seen in the last 2 years, probably approaching more what we saw from 2015, 16 through 2019, and that will cause our incomes to be lower.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an interesting time in agriculture, but we've had a couple of very good price years, which resulted in income years. Ukraine-Russia conflict played into that, as well as Brazil and Argentina, particularly the southern parts of it, didn't have good crops. So the combination of those two um, likely have a negative impact on prices moving forward.
I have a question about the cash market for central Illinois. Could you tell us?
So the central Illinois farmland is at a level of, it probably is averaging about $16,000 per acre overall, but we see much higher prices. Central Illinois has very good productivity land, very high productivity compared to the rest of the nation. And it also has when you think about buying farmland, Central Illinois is one of those places where investors and others think about buying farmland. So when we're looking at that area of the world, we're seeing higher prices than other prices.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Illinois is God's country.
yeah. The soils are good. Yes, it is God's country. Um, God put together the factors that caused it to be very good with the prairie soils and the prairie here and that building soils over time and the needed rainfall to get that done. It's been very, very helpful to those central Illinois soils.
How is the cash value for these farmlands in Illinois?
So we see again that those have increased over the last from 2001 to 2022. We've seen those even increase into the first half of this year. So we're looking at high farmland prices and 16,000 to 20,000, but with a lot of variability. Moving forward, we're probably not expecting those prices to decline in the immediate term, but there's pressures on that may cause those prices to come down.
Finally, what is your opinion on this economic about the farmlands?
Yeah, that's a very good question as well, Caesar. I guess I would keep coming back to, I would expect farmland prices to remain stable, maybe even increase throughout the remainder of the year. But we have to remember that there's items that are causing those prices to have negative flow impacts. One of those are increasing interest rates, and those have happened already, or perhaps at the highest, but one never knows. We need to keep in mind that farmland interest rates on farmland are going to be higher than they were in the past. And also, we're probably looking at some downward pressure on farmland, on returns to farmland, cash rents, and that likely will cause farmland prices to have some downward pressure in 2024 and beyond. Yeah.
Is there anything would you like to go to tell the audience on the crop conditions and cash market for the farmers with farming operation on the show?
Yeah, it's been as they all are, an interesting year, weather-wise and crop condition-wise. We've seen a very dry year, or dry July. It's one of the driest since 2000, but crops look good. So we'll have to wait to run the combine through the field to see what the final yields are. Given the crop conditions, I would expect lower yields this year, but again, we have to wait and see and look at what we end up. it has been as they all are, an interesting year in agriculture, and the growing conditions and dry conditions in late May, June, and July have been interesting.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure to be on.
Cool beans, this is Cesar Delgado from Back Roads of Illinois. You've been listening to Back Roads of Illinois. I am Cesar Delgado. I am your host today. I would truly appreciate you do subscribe to my podcast on YouTube. Thanks for listening to Back Roads of Illinois podcast. Have a great day. This is Gary Schitnk from the University of Illinois at College of Agriculture and Consumer. You have been listening to Back Roads of Illinois. I am Cesar Delgado. Have a great day.